Well, how important is this award? Joining us now on Newsnight is Dr. David Hornsby, Senior Lecturer of International Relations at Wits University here in Johannesburg. Welcome to you. It's a 15-year-old organisation. What exactly does it do?
Well, I think its purpose is exactly in its title, and that is to eliminate the chemical weapons, to enforce the international law around the prohibition of the use and creation of chemical weapons. And it's been remarkably successful since its creation.
Quite remarkably, it's working in Syria at the moment. It's the first time that its inspectors have been working in an active war zone. Its role and function have changed and perhaps become a little bit more dangerous, literally being on the front line.
Well, I think in any situation where you're dealing with weapons, it's always going to be a dangerous circumstance. But absolutely, this is the first time they've been engaged in an active conflict. But that shouldn't underscore what they've done prior. They've essentially been responsible for the elimination of 80% of the world's stockpile of chemical weapons. That's 25,000 tons of chemical weapons that they've been responsible in the past 10 years for eliminating.
How have they done that?
Well, I think it's been largely through the cooperation with other states, where obviously they've joined on to the International Convention and have agreed to allow them in. So it's been primarily through volunteerism and states volunteering. This is the first situation where they're actually going in and I guess implementing a United Nations Security Council mandate.
That's the work that they've done, but there's been a philosophical change as far as chemical weapons are concerned. The Norwegian Nobel Committee chairman saying today that this organization has helped chemical weapons become taboo.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, I think having an international organization that highlights this particular issue as the horrors of chemical weapons is absolutely been crucial to, I think, its success and obviously getting rid of so many chemical weapons. But it's interesting, the Nobel Committee has actually been very supportive as of late, and it seems like a trend, of international organizations and awarding the Peace Prize to international organizations. So this organization is the fifth since 2001 to have won the Peace Prize.
In many ways, this could be construed as a political decision, the West sending out a very strong message to Syria and perhaps other rogue nations.
Well, I think the Nobel Peace Prize Committee in particular has always been a very political entity. They haven't, been at all resistant to make political statements. I think, awarding the Peace Prize to President Barack Obama before he'd actually ever really even started his mandate was a very political act in and of itself. So
Is that a good thing?
I think, absolutely, because sometimes sending a message and speaking to potential is really important.
The organization or the Nobel Committee is saying that there's a bigger intent here, that this sends out a message of a stronger commitment and a greater dedication, David, to bring about a world free of chemical weapons. Initially, you told us about some very impressive statistics that they have achieved. Is this something which is achievable perhaps in your lifetime or my lifetime?
Absolutely. I think, obviously it requires a great deal of commitment from the signatories of the organization. But I think the Nobel Committee has been very clear, not only with the awarding of the Peace Prize to this organization, but to all the international organizations that it's given its award to saying that multilateralism is key to peace, that cooperative endeavors that bring states together is integral to the peace process, and they want to reinforce and ensure that that sort of continues on.
Very quickly, perhaps this was a good award, but was it the right choice from a public relations perspective? 259 nominees for this year's Peace Prize. One of the front runners was the Pakistani schoolgirl campaigner Malala Yousafzai. She was a front runner. Would it have perhaps sent out a different signal? Would it have been better if this young woman had been given the award?
Well, I think I can answer that from two perspectives. As an IR scholar, I'm very happy that an international organization won the award.
You would say that, though.
Yeah, of course. But personally, I think Malala would have been a nice recipient. But she's quite young, and she has a lot of work left to do, so I suspect she might be considered in the future also.
Also indicating earlier today that she plans long-term to lead Pakistan, so perhaps you're right. Thank you very much for joining us.
News that moves. eNCA.com.